I'm gonna show you like the main screen because I have one thing I want to explain before I go into it. There's two modes that you can play currently. So I want to make sure you're seeing it before I go into it so you can know what I'm talking about. A-N, but it should be Ruby Shadow Love, not my real name. I have I think I have like two separate channels. How are you spelling Ruby Shadow Love? L-U-V. Yep. It should be the live one right now. Okay. So the two modes are the normal mode, Survival Evolved, and then the Primitive Plus, where there's a whole range of different buildings, materials, and like different structures to build with. If you're ever interested, I can always show you that some other time. But I'm going to go to my single player. Yep. It's your single player, but you can run a non-dedicated server, which is right above cancel on my menu. If you can see that I've highlighted it. But I'm gonna go and play single player. No one's gonna be able to join me while I'm doing that. And I'm going to my Ragnarok map. This is Pizza Hut, honey.
Oh, this is Hut?
Yeah, this is Hut. Not Domino.
I'm still gonna get fat off of it.
You're gonna get fat off of pizza food. Yep. And I'm loading in. It sometimes takes a little while. Some maps are bigger than others, and Ragnarok is like the biggest map. Which is sadly odd that when I went to try and play online with my husband on a Ragnarok map, I could not get into a, we couldn't find a place to settle in, just to start. Okay. So this is actually a tree house, basically a tree house that I made. There's the trunk right there, kind of. Like, come on, open up. Oh, triangle to open up. This is actually the official. This is actually officially out. That this is, well, I mean, you build, you survive, you tame dinos, and that's my tree. That's my tree house that I made. I made that out of a tutorial. Yeah, I made that out of a tutorial, and I actually messed it up, as you can see here. This is not the way it's supposed to look. This is the PlayStation. I wouldn't, you know, I'm going with PlayStation. It doesn't align quite right. They're supposed to be like straight out instead of kind of angled. And they just kind of angle. That's a dinosaur I can ride. It's the Griffin. It's one of the more recent ones that came out right a little before they came official. I'm gonna go ahead and go to my main base, which is actually a bit of a flight, to be honest. Because mine is up this way. hmm Now, this creature, it replaced the Tapejara when it came out in my opinion, because the Tapejara, it was maneuverable, kind of like the Griffin is. I mean, you should see me like moving forward, backward, side to side. The Tapejara is just like that, and the Griffin can still have multiple people. Now, I will say that the Griffin can carry fewer people than the Tapejara by one person. But the Griffin is faster than the Tappy. I think I actually have a Tapejara spawned in on this. Now, I will have to go out and go to my islands map to show a multiple, the most of the dinos, because I have quite a few of them spawned in, but not on this map. Alright. There's actually like 2 or 3 entrances to my hidden base here. It's inside a cave. But I'm gonna use the sky entrance. I spawned it. I'm not gonna lie. All the dinos that you see here are spawned. Yes, hun. You don't get to take the whole freaking thing. Jared, you do not get to you do not get to take the whole damn thing. No. Get me a bowl and I'll split it. My husband's being an ass. Oh, that is delicious. Now, the tech doors, like what you see, those can be automatic. You can actually turn the automatic off if you want to. But those by default are automatic. They open when you approach, they close when you leave. And you don't have to push a single button for it. Normally, you have to hit like triangle to open it, then you got to turn around and to hit triangle to close it again. This is, by the way, a Tapejara with a tech saddle on it. Oh yeah, oh yeah, you can fight dinos. If you fight them, you want to have Trank, which brings me to weapons, ammo. I'm gonna go ahead and spawn in some Trank darts. Normally you can't create them like this, but you know, let's see. Long neck rifle, yes. Alright. Let's see. I'm actually going to... I'm actually going to take one of these. Let's see. That's the normal one. This one's the aberrant. I'm going to take this. Those are, by the way, those are Tech Rexes. Those are actually the new ones that are coming, like the new kind of dinos that they're coming out for the Extinction Chronicles. That's the first one they brought out. These rock drakes came out with Aberration. They are actually quite interesting. They can disappear. They can cloak themselves. They can glide instead of fly. They can climb up walls and stick on ceilings. These are the Raptors that came. That these were the third ones that came out with the Extinction Chronicles. Now, you can actually throw skins just like these on regular dinos, you know, on some of them. But these don't have skins, and you can mate them, and they will have an egg. They will lay an egg that looks techy, and then it'll produce a dino that's techy. This is the Stegosaurus that came out like that, you know, the Tech Stego. By the way, this is the only flyer that you can place a platform saddle. That's why there's structure built on it, and you can actually put dinos on platforms and carry them. Just kind of showing you that. There's actually a motorboat, so you can travel on water. But to the taming thing, I'm gonna go where there's actually creatures to tame. Some of them, like the dodo, you can. The dodo is probably the easiest thing to tame, because you can just punch it in the head a few times, throw some berries on it, and it'll tame. By the way, the trees, the rocks, and the plants all are resources. Alright. Here's actually something I'm gonna try taming. Now, I will tell you that this guy is actually a spitter. Dilophosaurus. Now, I'm actually, since I don't have meat on me, I am just gonna do... It'll spit something at you. It blinds them. Alright, so you want to throw meat on there. You long tap X, by the way, to do this. Otherwise, you throw your entire inventory in with with this button here. Some dinos take more than just like one trank arrow to knock out. So, and they will either run from you or attack you. And when they're the ones that attack you, you know they're about to knock out when they start running away from you. Well, for example, this one would be an attacking one. There's some that You know, there's some that you can just tell because they start off attacking you. Like this one, if I didn't have the GM buff, it would start off by attacking me. It would try blinding me. It would spit on me. You know? I have a tamed one spawned in back at the base when I get done taming this, because like I said, I wanted to show you. When I get done taming this, I'll take the dinos back to the base, and then I'll find a nice small spot to build and show you how to build stuff, you know, construct stuff. And your first couple of tiers of building, thatch and wood, you can actually create in your inventory. After that, I think, I don't know about stone, but I know for sure metal and stuff. After that, you have to have like a station to create with. Obviously, once you tame it, you can name it or not, and it's automatically on follow. Until you tell it to stop. Of course, it does have an... What do you want, hon? Are you saying goodnight?
No,
It needs to charge. Dear Lord. You need to speak. I don't know what holding it out means.
You're speaking so much that I'm not sure if you can even hear me speaking, so...
Now, as dinos, you know, as you progress and as your dinos stay with you and stuff, they will gain experience and you can level them up. Some dinos, most of the time, people will just throw like health and like you know. Yeah. By the way, that down there that looks bony, that's a giga. That's a gigasaur. I'll talk about it here in a moment. Because, you know, I'm gonna head to it real quick before I drop off the Dilophosaur. It is up here for a reason. Whenever you're on a PvP server, and sometimes even on a PvE server, like say for example someone kites some dangerous dinosaurs over to your base because they can't directly attack you, Gigasaur is actually larger than a Rex. Now the reason that you keep them separate is because tamed, if they take enough damage, they will turn on you and destroy everything they can. You get dismounted and everything. Yeah, they are dangerous. No, just not getting damaged. That's it. That's all there is. If it takes damage, if it takes enough damage, you're screwed. Why is the Dilophosaurus stuck? Yeah, you either cage it up somewhere separate or you're just screwed. Some people tend to put behemoth gates, which is the larger gate you saw, together, like a bunch of them. And it's harder. They take a lot of damage before they can get out. And it looks like that Dilophosaur is just stuck right now. Oh well. I'll deal with it later. Ikus, by the way, what I'm riding, they're a little different to tame. You actually have to sneak up to them, feed them rock carrot, which basically is just carrot, just given a different name, and mount on them and try to tame them. And it takes it'll take a few tries. I haven't actually attempted it in reality myself, to be honest. I can teach you some of the usefulnesses of some of these mounts. This one is more like just running around, and if you have a saddle, you can make a lasso where you can drag someone or a creature around. In fact, it's kind of like a mobile chem bench, unpowered chem bench, and this is the lasso, by the way. Let's see. Yeah. Mobile chem bench. You know. These things, they're incredibly good at getting, like...
Hey guys, there's like 3 cheese sticks here. Or breadsticks, actually.
I'll take them.
Alright.
They're good, like, if you put berries in its inventory, you have the choice of telling it to turn them into seeds. And they're especially good at getting, like, berries and seeds when you go out. I've never tried legitimately taming a griffin, just so you know, so I have no idea how it works. I've never found out. I've never heard. These guys, oddly enough, they eat berries, but are aggressive. I'm sorry, hun. Gosh damn, you are really just... Oh. You don't give up, do you? These are good for... These are actually pretty good for 3 different things. The basic attack... that's not the basic attack. The basic attack like this, you can take out, like, trees. Yeah, mainly trees. This attack, you can get specifically fiber from plants. And I'll actually show you. They're not very good for capacity, but they're good for gathering, like fast gathering. And they are not... I don't think they're very good with stamina either, so you tend to want to level up capacity and stamina the most. I'm going to take it out and show you, because you saw a bunch of plants outside, right? This thing has 3 attacks. R2 is the one where it swings its arms. L2 is the tickle fingers attack. And then R3, clicking your left stick, is different. I'll show you all 3. Alright. So, you'll notice R2. More wood than thatch. I have high yield set up right now, so you know you really notice the difference. Tickle, tickle, tickle. Fiber only. This one pecked the ground and it got berries and seeds. See? That's what it does. That is what it is good for. I've already explained the Quetzal. The Quetzal, the Tapejara is more difficult to tame than the Quetzal because it's so small and maneuverable. It can literally fly forward, backward, side to side, land on a freaking wall or tree. You know? It's the only flyer that can actually land on a wall or tree. So if you really need to, you can land up high, where things can't reach you nearly as well. There are some creatures that can climb up the tree or wall and get at you, but they're not very frequent. Yeah, they're not as frequent. By the way, these are like the largest storage on them. They have 350 slots, and some slots, some things stack up to 100. Some things do not stack at all. You know, these are the biggest storage, and I think I have, no, I don't. That's how much space they take. They actually shrunk them down. They used to be 3 high. 3 walls high. They would reach about that high. Right there where I'm pointing. You know? So, yeah. There is obviously electricity. I've got the wireless version. I told you I said I was going tech. This is a tech generator. There is a gas-powered generator where you have to have cables coming out of it, and I actually have one on my boat, which is out here. Motorboat. I think I do. Apparently I do not. Bummer. By the way, there's a trick to making the foundations. This is a foundation. This is the ceiling. You can tell the difference from the height. Sink down into the structure, and I do it on platform saddles as well. It's more so that you can be on the creature and mount back up. Like you can get off of being mounted up, and you can do whatever you need in the saddle, and then you can or in the structure built on the saddle, and then you can like get back mounted on it. I did it like that on purpose. See like how you can ride on this? You can select ride. Normally, if you don't do the trick I've done, you can't do it. Because they'll stand up on top of the platform saddle instead. I've sunk them down into it. Anyways, you probably would like to know a little bit about the building. But yeah, because that's like the biggest thing I haven't shown. Structures. I think I will go with wood, because that's tier 2 of building. Far Cry co-ops? Because I tried a Far Cry game and it was difficult for me. I don't remember. It was one that my brother-in-law had on, I think it was 360. I'm gonna show you a basic building, and I'm also gonna show you I'm gonna also show you the platform the platform trick that I do, how to sink the foundation down into the wall. I would give it a try, but I don't have the game. I'm broke. I was gonna buy a $20 expansion for Destiny 2, and I don't have the money for it. Oh, bummer, it's getting dark. Alright, I'm in fly mode. Well, I will let you know. I'm gonna build on this little island, which means I'm also gonna need a pick. Let's see. I played it. I beat it several times. Like, I beat it and then I modded it. And I just realized I don't have any... Yeah. It was more glitchy when it came to the, when it came to it being, excuse me. When it came to being modded. I wouldn't know. Damn it, it's so dark now. Ugh, fine. Whatever. Alright. Starting off, let's see. I'm gonna, since it's actually very grassy, if I lower it down, I'm not gonna be able to show you, like, the grass is gonna show. So I'm gonna just kind of start placing foundations. And, by the way, one thing that's very nice about this game, if you run out of of a structure and you have enough materials in your inventory, and you tap it on your bar, the structure itself on your bar, it'll create. Yeah. Oh, let's see, one more thing I need to create is the ramp. Sounds like you're tired. Oh yeah. Yeah. Central Time? Yeah. Put that away. As you can see, I've actually built it to double high. The nice thing is you can stack your shit. There's the door. I'm just building like a small little 3x3 2 high building, you know? And yeah, that's all I'm building to show you. And then it is so damn dark. Let's see, I am going to... Let's see. Good night, hun. Let's see, miscellaneous. Oh, come on, no torch. Where's the torch? Let's see, offhand. No, not the cuffs. Gosh damn it. Let's see, weapon. Miscellaneous? No, I already tried that. Primitive. Melee. There's no what? Ugh. There we go. Now you can see what I'm doing. And there we go. That's a small 3x3 building with an easy way in, instead of having to try and jump up and get in, you know. Now I'm going to show you the way to sink the foundations. All it is platform, or is the foundation. Throw the pillar right in the middle. Delete the floor, the foundation. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Builds the foundation right outside of it, you know, right next to it. Rinse and repeat until you get the height you want. I keep forgetting that that's the height that you want. Notice how it's lower than it was? Yeah, you see this? The difference? Yeah, that's how you do it. Um, Now, I didn't show you this on the way out. I just kind of quickly moved. This is my defenses, my exterior defenses. It's actually overkill, honestly. It's a cliff platform which came out with Aberration and a whole bunch of tech turrets powered by a couple of tech generators. You know, like I said, it is way overkill, but I did it just 'cause. Let's see. Now, they do have decorative furniture, as you can see through the window, but not very well, so I'm going to go inside. The carpets actually came out when they released the rugs. They actually came out when they released Aberration. But the chairs have been there forever. The tables have. I think the benches are new. And then the fireplace has also been there pretty well the entire time. And you can throw wood in there, and it's a heating element. It actually causes heating. I'm gonna go into one of these rooms over here, and I've got a This is actually just one of the crew rooms. I have a master room that's over there that has a beautiful view of a waterfall. But this is a tech bed. Tech beds, if you want to use a bed to travel, make sure you have it. First of all, like say you have multiple different bases, right, in different areas of the map. First of all, one huge thing. Do not have anything in your inventory or on your character. Gear of any kind. You will drop it. It'll be like a little bag of dropped items on the ground, and if you take too long, that'll deteriorate. You put your inventory, like you store your inventory. You throw it in like a chest or something. If you want to protect yourself somewhat when you are going offline, the tech bed actually helps with that. People can't just drag you. They added this animation later. You can actually lay on. You can actually lay on. And it works the tech bed isn't the only one where you can do that. Let me see. I am going to... First I'm going to store my gun, torch, pick, and Frank. I'm gonna deposit and get rid of these things. By the way, I'm wearing armor that looks like plate armor, but it's actually a skin. I think, yeah, it's ghillie. You can't tell because I'm not showing it, but it's ghillie. That's what it looks like, the headpiece. I have it so I'm hiding my helmet because, lo and behold, I have a haircut that I like. This is actually the, I think this is the Viking hairstyle. I'm about to show you what it looks like to drop a bunch of stuff. That's what it looks like when you drop a bunch of stuff, right there. Looks like a bag. Oh. They actually added recently enough if you die, if your character dies, they have a beacon for you to follow. But it does, over time, deteriorate just like dropped items. Yeah. There's some creatures that won't attack you, like a Triceratops, a Stegosaurus, a Brontosaurus, unless you attack them. You have to, like, attack them. Now, I am going to show you... These are the other beds that exist in the game. There is a bed roll that is far more primitive, but, you know, I just kind of wanted to show you, you know, Leon. There you go. You can't be just dragged off. Let's see. Leon. Yeah. There you go. You can build in Far Cry? Holy crap. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to... Let's see. At this point, the only thing I can really say is that you need to see the variety of dinos. And I haven't shown you the variety very well because this map doesn't have a variety. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit to main menu and go to my island map. I don't remember where I am on it. I've got a couple of bases on there. And I'll just, if you're interested, I'll give you an explanation of the dinos and what they're useful for. Otherwise, I'll just kind of run past them and let you see them. And no, I don't have every dino that exists in the game spawned in, but I do have a good majority of them. And some dinos only show up on certain maps. You notice that I changed, like, selected a different map to load into, right? For example, there's 3 kinds of wyverns: fire, electric, and poison. Those, until recently, those only showed up on Scorched Earth. Then Ragnarok came out with a desert section like Ragnarok, or like Scorched Earth, and so Scorched Earth dinos show up in the desert section of Ragnarok. And oh my gosh, I am naked. With broken gear. What happened? And a shit ton of meat. I don't remember. Armor. Oh, wait. Enable. Okay. Gilly! There we go. This is how Gilly looks. You basically look like you are a plant. And by the way, like what I was talking about, these 2 dinos I spawned in and then I mated them to this thing, or to make this thing. This is born from them. It looks too much like the same thing as the other one. Alright. I will go ahead and go upstairs. This is an elevator, you know, obviously. There's 3 different sizes of platforms, and I think I went with the small. I didn't get to show you the greenhouse and farming because I didn't have it. You know, farming. I made it like nice and pretty here. Um, anyways, done with that. I did not GM buff myself this time, so if I go out in the wild, I will actually attract attention. Well, hang on. Like, I'll show you. I'm gonna do God so they can't kill me, but that's about it. It's one of my bases that I built. Yeah, if you can run fast enough. Sometimes the dinos are faster than you. Let's see. I'm trying to find some wilds. Some wild dinos. Here's a raptor. See? He came and started attacking me. Alright, so I am going to show you my vast array of dinos that I do have. I have most of the large ones here. They don't follow you all the way across the map. That one probably did continue following me. Yeah, that one still was following me. I wasn't out of range of it to stop following me. But here's my large dinos collection. And again, there's the tech the tech stego. Come on. In fact, all the tech dinos are here. But you know, there's the Giga without the bone costume. You know, that big red one. This one is a Spino. He's more he's actually quite fast in the water. That is the that there with the long neck, that Bronto. That is the largest tame you can keep for permanent, because Titanosaurs, and it used to be only one per server. You know, you can only tame it temporarily and all that, then it would disappear. Titanosaurs are actually the largest. There's actually an Alpha Rex that I force tamed and then threw a saddle on her, because when you force tame, when I say force tame, I mean I typed in, like I did for God mode there, I typed in force tame. When you force tame, you don't have to have a saddle on them if they are rideable. You can just you can just mount up and go. I didn't do. I wanted to. It doesn't look as good though, because you kind of float in the air as you're riding it. But there's my Tech Rex, and this little guy usually shows up in the swamp. This is the smaller of the land platform of the land creatures that you can platform saddle. So yeah, there's that. Moving on. By the way, this big thing here is called an obelisk. On all maps, there tends to be a red, blue, and a green ob. That's what they will always say in chat, is they'll call them obs. And you go to them to fight bosses. You have to bring certain materials, but you go to them to fight bosses. Now these things are parasaurs, and notice that they're not actually attacking me. They are peaceful. In fact, if you try shooting them, they'll start running, and my God, can they run? Oh yeah, yeah, the parasaurs. They're not as fast as the Gallimimus though, and you'll see what a Gallimimus is later. But this here is where you can fight. They've changed it. You can only fight the dragons from this terminal. Then there's a spider, and then there's like a huge version of the Bigfoot, and you'll see the Bigfoot when I get to my other base. my main base on this map. And when I get there, because of how many dinos there are and how many structures I've built, it's gonna lag. Just warning you. Now, I may make you laugh because I have a couple of jokes there. Just a warning. I am clear across the map over here. I'll tell you, if you are on, if you start off on Islands map, where I'm going is the safest place because it's full of herbivores. It is literally called Herbivore Island. Straight north of it on the map, I'll show you if I can get the proper lighting. Straight north of that small dot in the bottom right corner, completely to the north, is the Carnivore Island. It is completely covered in carnivores. So, most dangerous part of the map. You know what? I didn't show you the I didn't. Yes. Legitimately? No, I haven't been there legitimately. I had God mode on. You usually want to go with something that shoots bullets or even tech. Let's see. The Titanosaur usually spawns. Like the Rex, for example. There's where the Titanosaur usually spawns at. Usually. Let's see if I can find it. It's usually in this area right here. Yeah, it is called Carnivore Island. It doesn't mean you won't find herbivores and carnivores around the map, but that's where that island is only carnivores. Let's see. The swamp, by the way, is the most dangerous because if you're by yourself, you land in the water, there's leeches that will leech onto you and slowly kill you. Where the fuck is this Titanosaur? The Titanosaur is not where it usually is, so I'm following the path that I tend to find it. Yeah. I can... Well, I mean, I'm explaining to you as I go, and you're able to ask me questions instead of the commentary just telling you, and it's not as interactive. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Alright, doesn't look like I'm finding the Titanosaur right now. I can go to Carnivore Island if you'd like. Okay. Well, I am in God mode already. Yep. Yep, I am not going to land. I'm just gonna kind of... Well, maybe I'll land. They can't actually hurt me. When you see, like, a Reddit... The dinos, they can't hurt me because I'm in God mode. When you see, like, an orange cloud emanating from them, that means that they are alpha. And when it's raptors in a pack, those are still tameable, but an alpha raptor specifically, like it says it in its name, those are untamable, and those will give you specifically a reward that you can take towards fighting one of the bosses. This is the Almighty Dangerous Island. I know it seems kind of... there we go. There we go. A couple of Carnos and a couple of birds. Oh, and another Carno came in, and I think a saber-toothed cat came in and joined the fight. 2 saber-tooths, I see. Yeah, they tend to fight each other a lot. But, you know, they will... Yeah, I've walked around. Ooh, there's an albino Rex. Finding an albino Rex randomly spawned, by the way, is not very common. Obviously, because he was outnumbered, he got killed. But you know, most flyers, by the way, cannot go on water, and if you go on water with one, you get dismounted. Yeah, they're fighting each other, but you know, if you come up, they'll lose interest in each other and come after you for the most part. There's some dinos that only spawn in certain regions. There's some dinos that they'll spawn everywhere. You know, it's just sometimes. Yeah, no, I've left the little island. Jellyfish, by the way, that little shiny thing in the water. There's only one creature that you can tame that can handle being touched by that and not kick you off of it because it's been stunned. And it's slow as hell, but worth it because it's the only thing that can go up against those. Otherwise, you have to be like on land shooting at them, and that way they can't come and hurt you. Yep, there I went. I got too close to the water. I got dismounted. Sometimes some of them, if they're the smaller breed of flyers, you get kicked off and you go falling. There's like where this is a large portion of swamp area. There's there's Titan boas. There's large gators like that one right there, but you'll see those you'll see a lot of those when I get to my island. You can always tell that you're in swamp when a lot of the land is like covered, not very deep, and isn't sandy shores, you know. And like I said, it is the most dangerous because of the leeches. You have to have someone having someone pick them off of you. Like I said, you can't go by yourself, otherwise you screwed. I'm actually coming over here to show you I built a bridge all the way just 'cause I could. Just 'cause I could. I actually got leeches stuck on a wyvern of mine. Didn't realize it until it was too late. Oh man, I got dismounted because it was at the wrong angle. I'm gonna use my creative mode flying ability to mount back up. And I'm actually just gonna land like right here. I guess I do not have the joke. Bummer, I forgot about that. There is one long neck, the smallest of the long necks, that is the Diplodocus. Its attack does no damage whatsoever. It just shoves you back. It makes you go flying back. The landing damage is what hurts. But the joke on that is that it's a 10 passenger saddle. So I had one previously, like I've reset the map and rebuilt. I had it colored yellow and I called it Magic School Bus. And I call this one the Bouncing Betty. Because in the wild, they will be buried. You do not see the mound like that when they are wild. And if you're on a PvP server, if they're your enemy. You do not see that. You get close to the ground and they just come and attack you. That is it. That is all there is to it. You're screwed. And they will knock you off of your freaking mount, too. Alright. I'm sure you can see those tails sticking out the side of the building. And you can see the fact that I have this very tall building. Yeah. Yeah. Now, I don't recall... Don't you dare do that to me, game. Now, I have colored all of these personally the way I wanted them colored, so keep in mind these are not original colors for them. The Griffin, however, it seems to have a problem where when you color it with the code, it doesn't retain it. Next time, when I log out of my single player and log back in, you can sort of tell that I tried to color it, but it doesn't retain it. It's back to the brown color. So I had to actually paint this motherfucker myself. Anyways, you've already seen the Tepejara with a tech saddle. There's the Tepejara. This is the Argentavis, the bird that was attacking earlier on the Carnivore Island. This is the tame one. This is the Pteranodon. The only thing these guys are good for is quick scouting missions. They do not have very good stamina, but they are fast, but they are not maneuverable like this thing is. By the way, that's what you look like when you log out. If you go online, that is what you look like when you log out and don't bother with laying in a bed. So, just so you know. Again, the Quetzal, platform saddle and everything. And you can get really creative with how you build stuff. Like I got here, you know. Tons of storage and a couple of beds, you know. You can get really creative with building. You know, sky's the limit. Your imagination is. This is the same creature as I showed you before, except it has a tech saddle as well. You can see, you should be able to seat 3, but it only when I tested that out and tried it, it only allowed for 1 passenger. Yeah, I'm kind of showing off you'll see it as you're watching, but I'm kind of showing it off. The rock drake, how it climbs on the wall and ceiling and can go invisible. And if I were to have the rock drake, by the way, if I were to have the Griffin exactly the same level, which I think these are, yeah, they're kind of close to the same level. I think I've leveled that one up a couple times, the Griffin. But the Griffin and the Griffin, it takes longer to kill the rock drake with the Griffin than most creatures of the same level. I actually no, a Griffin of this level of like 45,000, it took way longer to kill a level 10 rock drake than it does anything else. Usually with my Griffin I'm one-shotting things, but this thing, it took longer just to kill one. Alright, I mentioned wyverns, you get to see them. Like I said, these are not original colors. This is the fire wyvern. They can pick things up with their claws, but I'm just going to show off the special attacks that they have. The fact that they are fire, electric, poison, and it's not quite loading in right. Poison, dismount. And frost is the newest one. Came out with Ragnarok. Alright. I'm gonna look straight down because otherwise I ruined the surprise. Because, like I said, I have a multitude of choices on dinos. Alright. And I fell through. What the hell? Oh my gosh. Yes. No. In fact, it didn't used to do that to me. There we go. I don't know why the elevator took me through the map. It's not supposed to. Okay. Rex with a tech saddle. If it has a tech saddle, more than likely on this map, I gave it one. Rex tech saddle. I think it has some... Yeah, it has some elements, so I can show it off. Engage it by R3. Disengage it by R3 again. Tech saddle. Alright, this guy was rather recent. He's more adept at killing bugs, because yes, there are giant bugs. There's giant spiders and ants, mainly. And, like... Yep. He's adept at killing bugs. You've already seen this guy, so no introduction needed. This guy. The Tyrannosaurus, I believe is what it says. He tends to buff. I think that was actually a scaring roar. That's the buffing roar, and you can tell based on the circles how long they have before the buff expires. Here's the larger of the two crocs, by the way. And he is a fat ass. Here's a stego. Self-explanatory. When he's like a good early on pack mule, like you throw a lot of shit on him, and he's also rather like he basically is early game version of a Bronto, because the Bronto is like the ultimate pack mule slash berry and wood and all that gatherer. Because the Bronto, one swing of a tail and you've got like hundreds of like berries, and I think my like I said, my obtaining is high, but like you have a mess ton of wood, thatch, berries in one swing of a tail. They are huge. But this is like a smaller version of it with no platform saddle. The thing about the Bronto with a platform saddle, when you're gathering like that, you usually take the Bronto with the platform saddle and you set up so you can make narcotic on the go. You put like a chem station and a refrigerator and something to store the finished product in, and you're collecting narco berries. Narcotic, by the way, is to knock out and keep knocked out the dinos that you're taming, that you have to knock out. I'm sure you've already figured out what that is. This actually has a buff towards carrying wood. It can carry more wood in its inventory, and its 70 wood in its inventory is like 75% less weight in it. Yep. All right, this is the Carno I was talking about. They've got the cute weird little stubby arms and the horns on its head. That's how you know it's a Carno. It's the smallest of the large carnivores like this. Alright, the Allosaur has an interesting feature about them. You can make them sing. You can have a small little choir of them. When the footage gets to it on your end, you'll see it. Triceratops, not too useful. Honestly, it's another one of them early game pack mules. That's about it. I don't know about any other use for them. These guys in the wild, if you're fighting them, do not fight them at long range. Their charge attack is far more painful than just, scraping you with their horn. If you're fighting one of these things, either be in the air where they can't hurt you at all, or be real close to them where, yes, they can hurt you, but they can't charge you. It hurts less. Okay, let's see. Oh, by the way, this big round thing here I'm standing on, it's a teleport. It's the tech teleport so that you don't have to drop your gear or any of your items in your inventory. In fact, you can also transport dinosaurs instantly. Okay, time for the other elevator. Yeah, you're gonna see just a shiny thing as I'm rising. Okay, I'm going to start over here. Okay, the beaver. He's not called Beaver in the game. You can see the name as I'm hovering over it. He is really good at gathering wood. I'm gonna say she because that's the color of the name on it. She's very good at gathering wood, but not at holding it because she's also a mobile smithy. Smithy is kind of is one of the crafting stations, of course, The turtle, the Carbonese. I honestly don't know its usefulness, really, except if you want, like, an armored dino, because its head is covered in some kind of armor, its body, most of it is covered in armor. If you're trying to kill it where the shell isn't covering it, which usually is around the neck and the legs, and that is it. Maybe the butt too, but that's about it. This is not a trike. In fact, this thing is a Pachyrhino. It is actually good. It's helpful for when you're trying to tame because this gas that it emits is supposed to help calm your dinos that you're trying to tame. Aggressive dinos that you're trying to tame. It's supposed to. I don't know. I haven't tested it, but that's what I've read about it. The Phomia. Two uses for it. It's otherwise completely useless. If you're not taming it, you're killing it for meat because it carries a lot of meat. Otherwise, if you're taming it, you're trying to feed it a lot of stem berries for poop to make fertilizer. And that is it. It is a poop machine. Otherwise, you've already met the Iguanodon, so I'll skip that and move on to these. This is the beer drinker. This creature here is the one that you want to be wearing full ghillie. You want to sneak up on it and follow it on its butt and feed it beer. to tame. You do not knock it out, you will ruin your chances of taming it if you do. This is the beer drinker. I've got it sitting, but I can make it stand up, and then I can ride it, and it has a couple of interesting attacks. Like it'll throw a big rock at you. You didn't really see that very well because I threw it at the ground. There you go. Throws a rock. And I think it also... Nope, it just bites otherwise. But if it sees you and you're ranged, it'll start throwing rocks at you. So that's why you want to... you kind of want to just sneak up on it. This thing is actually good for raising young. When you're breeding, it's actually good because you can throw a baby into its pouch and it'll, you know, kind of it'll help with it. It's kind of some I forget, but you can also throw another person in it, and you can have a two-man. Like someone can be mining for materials, and you can be riding the dino, carrying them. They don't have to bother with their carry weight. They just fill up on materials while you carry them around. I've already explained the Parasaur. They're pretty well useless. They can run pretty fast, but otherwise that's it. Okay, I told you there's creatures that can climb up trees and walls. This guy isn't as good about the climbing as the rock drake. He can only go up and down, and that is it. But he can climb, and he is an aggressive. He will come and attack you if you find him. In fact, normally you'll find him in the redwood up in a tree. This is the Bigfoot I was talking about, and I kind of, on my original setup with this, I named him after my brother, because, you know, we had the joke that my brother was a big monkey. He was always not knowing his own strength and destroying stuff. It was to be funny more than anything else. This is the Gallimimus. It is good for fast scouting missions, and that is about it. They are fast as hell. I said that the Parasaur was fast as hell. These will leave those things in the dust. Like, oh my gosh, they are so fast. Unfortunately, they are shit when it comes to turning. Like their turn radius is so damn wide. If you're trying to make a tight turn, you're not gonna make it. Makes it difficult for placement of them, by the way. These things. You get a male and a female, you breed them, you kill the babies, and you've got mutton. Endless supply of mutton. Otherwise, you take some scissors to them, and you've got they call it something else instead of wool. I think it, or maybe they do call it wool. I don't remember. It's been a while. But they give you a material where you can make fur armor, which fur armor is good when you go into a tundra area. These guys, well, I'm pretty sure the head kind of speaks for itself. It's meant for charging and button heads, you know, the packy. Otherwise, that's about it. He's good for maybe a raid. The saber cats, I kind of like how they look, but you know, the saber cats, they're just, you know, they're rideable mounts, probably good for a scout mission. They are ferocious and can fight if you put the melee and health high enough. You know, they're actually not too bad. These guys, they're from Aberration. They're basically cave wolves, is what their spawn code is in, is a cave wolf. And much like the wolf, although the wolf actually the dire wolf has something different that they don't. They're actually a little more like the saber cats. They're good for scouting, and that's about it. They actually have some decorative. Uh, Actually, these are wearing the decorative saddle skins that have kind of like these things on the side. But these things these wolves. I'll let's see. There's the attack. There's a howl, which buffs up any other wolves in the area that are yours, or if they are attacking you that are wild. And then it can sniff out. It can sniff out resources and stuff. That's the nice thing about the wolves. Okay, these will attack you in the wild. Will attack you. Will attack you. These will normally leave you alone unless you attack them. Give this thing a sweet cake, and it is your friend forever. Will not attack you. This will run from you before it'll attack you. I think this will attack you. Don't quote me on that. I don't know for sure. It's been a while. Will run from you. Will ignore you. Like I said, that'll attack you. That'll leave you alone. That'll leave you alone. That'll leave you alone. That'll leave you alone. That will, unless you mess with its beaver, with its dam, that you can find some of them underwater and get a shit ton of wood without having to cut down trees. Unless you mess with their dams, they will leave you alone. Otherwise, they'll attack you. Let's see. These things, they'll leave you alone, and the male is the only one that's really useful to be honest, because you can take him out and get a lot of thatch real quick. Those horns get the thatch nicely. I think I've already explained these, and yes, there is a unicorn. You are right. You are looking at a unicorn right there. That is. They when they came out with this variant, it was supposed to be a 1 per server, to make it really rare. Not because of it would wreck your game, but just simply because they wanted to make it really rare. This one is good for collecting metal and flint. Metal and flint. Big and spiky, metal and flint. Small, spiky, the Doedicurus. Let's see, that's the Ankylo, obviously. The Doedicurus. By the way, the Doedicurus can roll up into a ball and just roll forward. So if you need to get away real fast, you can use that. But he is good for getting obsidian and stone. Really good at obsidian and stone. I think these do attack, but I don't know, since most of them spawn in underground caves. These guys are like the rock drakes. These lizards, they can climb up walls, go side to side on the walls. They can go every which way on the wall and ceiling, but they cannot glide. That's the downfall. They cannot glide. They cannot stealth. They're lizards. Okay, this big ass boar, the Deodot, it is good for raids only, because it is the healing dino, and it will do damage to itself to heal your allies. So, it's only good for raids. That is it. And they are hard to knock out or tame because they heal themselves in the wild. They are freaking hard as balls to get. The bear, they've actually recently changed the bear so it's useful towards beehives. Make it more easily made, or make it easier to get honey from them, because there's giant bees. I don't have them spawned in. These guys, I've actually kind of made it a little self-explanatory on them with the tools equipped. They're only in Scorched Earth, by the way, and yes, they will attack you on sight. Same with the bears. The Daedon actually will go and attack you. Like I said, I don't know about the lizards. The Ankylos and the Doedicurus, they won't attack you unless you attack them. Raptors, well, you saw. By the way, I actually have the alpha, specifically, like I was talking about, right next to a regular raptor. So you see the difference? They are also shit-ton faster than the regular ones at the same level. So if you're on a regular one, it'll still probably catch up to you because it is faster. Yeah. You see the size difference. You see the glow that it's emitting, kind of like the red fog around it, the red smoke. Yeah, that's the difference between the alpha and the regular. Now, if it's this size and it has like the glow to it, it's simply because it's a pack leader only, like the wolf over there had. This thing, the thorny dragon, it's a meat eater version of the beaver. I don't know what it collects better. I probably would say meat. It is a meat eater, but it is a portable smithy. See, craftable stuff. Smithy. And that is actually the saddle skin, the decorative saddle skin that comes with it. Instead of its normal saddle look, that's the decorative look. By the way, this whole row here at the end of what I'm showing you, they are all carnivores and they will attack you. This guy, Baryonyx, yes, he's a carnivore. I have no idea what his use is other than collecting meat. And he is kind of amphibious. By the way, the gators are also amphibious. This is the smaller gator. He's also amphibious and yes, will attack you on sight. Oh, I don't recall these things attacking you unless provoked. They are cute, but I don't know of any use for them. They're small, they hop, they have like a ranged attack. I guess that's their usefulness, but that's about it. I don't know of any other use for them. Now, I do not recall if I have any water dinos tamed and located, but if I do, they were over here last I saw them. It does not look like I do because I do not have like a huge base here with a water reservoir. Yeah, no, I don't have any tamed water dinos. I can't really show you all the stuff unless I spawn them in right now. At some point I probably will spawn those in again and be able to show them off. Let's see if I have an underwater base, because I don't remember. It doesn't look like I made an underwater base on here either, which is kind of a bummer. Because underwater bases are kind of nice. Let me see if I can quickly create one. Yes, I can. Yeah. Now these are actually quite interesting. You can build them however you want to. You know, you can make them really strange. I'm not really gonna do too much to be like that. You know, I'm just gonna kind of throw some together. That's not actually what I meant to do. Come on. Demolish. I'm just gonna make a small group of it there and throw this down right here. Throw some element in it and power it. You can kind of see how this works. You know, kind of a vacuum thing. And apparently it does not have enough yeah, apparently I need to add radius to that. Let's see. Range. Let's see. Oh, radius options. There we go. Maximum. There we go. Now it's all closed off and I can swim up into it. This is the moon pool. You kind of need it for all underwater base work. Oh yeah, there's a lot of them. There's actually rather large ones. One of them I called Japan because it was a large squid. Yeah, I think there's like one of them that's actually friendly. It's the dolphin, like one. Like what you can actually see one off in the distance right there, out the window. That's what they look like. When they're curious about you, they'll come up to you, and you can feed them fish to tame them, and hopefully they don't just swim off on you because they're like startled or something. You can feed them fish. You don't knock them out. You just kind of come up on them and feed them fish. They're kind of interesting that way. Um, let's see. You can kind of see what I'm doing here. And it works on the on the sides too. You know? And say I want to hide this what's inside this lower section. I would freeze all the sides, and you cannot see what's inside. Yep. And you have this nice little itty bitty place that's powered, but you can't see the power source unless you make a way down to it. And that would be first unfreeze it and then open. And there it is. It's available to get to. And let's see. The way... I'm just going to use a tech ladder. Let's see. Where's the ladder? There it is. And there we go. Now, unfortunately, when it comes to building inside these things, nothing snaps to them. Like, you noticed how they snapped to each other, but nothing really snaps to them. And, you know, you can just keep building on like this. As long as you have a way to your moon pool and a way out from the moon pool, like to the open water, you can just keep building like this for the underwater base. I am actually going to go ahead and put GM buff on. Because I'm going to, and let's see. Let's add oxygen. See, there's an aggressive... If I didn't put GM buff on, it would probably already be attacking me. This shark. Yep. It would be attacking me, but I have GM buff on. Oh hey, I do actually have an underwater base already. I just didn't go far out enough. But I don't have any water-tamed dinos. As you can see, I kind of used some for framework, and then that was it. But, you know, I even have a teleporter in here. Let's see. I threw an elevator in. 2 elevators, to be exact, and, you know, just kind of built. Turned it into a bedroom up here, and lots of storage. The joys of creation, the joys of cheats and admin, you know. Let's see. I'm gonna try to find. Okay, there's some jellyfish in the distance. They will attack you on sight if you're in the water, like if you're near enough, they'll start attacking you. And if you're mounted on a dino that cannot handle it, it'll knock you off your dino and kill the dino. Unless you can kill it first. You kill them. You kill them and get stuff off of them. They are non-tameable. The shark is tameable. The dolphin, the little dolphin guy is tameable. I'm swimming slower than I would like. There's anglers. There's piranha. The piranhas cannot be tamed, but the anglers can. You can ride the angler fish. You know, there's some dinos that just cannot be tamed. Like, that's not what they're meant for. They're meant to be killed. Alright, here's one of those dinos that can actually handle, like, being zapped. This thing. You can take it and kill the jellyfish with them. The stingrays, they're tameable. If you accidentally land them on or slide them onto land, they'll start dying instantly. Like, they are delicate in that manner. This is a closer view of the dolphin as well. This is literally three creatures all together. There's a creature that is really fucking big, and you're not supposed to tame it. You're not supposed to be able to tame it. And it'll come after your boat. If you're on a raft or something, it'll come after it. And it doesn't matter what kind of metal, what kind of building you've got on it. It'll destroy it. It'll go after it, and it'll destroy it. I'm trying to see if there's anything underneath. I cannot move any faster at the moment. The more oxygen you put the more points you put into oxygen as you level up, the faster you can go underwater. But I literally cannot go any faster right now. You'll notice I'm trying to go pretty deep as well, because that's where some of the creatures are that I otherwise cannot show you. Now, there are just regular fish that you like these here, those little fish here. They're just regular fish. Some fish, like a saber-tooth fish or something like that, lionfish, I think is what they are. I can't remember if they were saber-tooth fish or lionfish. I don't know. They'll attack you as well. I think that's one of the big ones right there that I just saw. Please, there's like 2 or 3. Yes, that is the Moby Dick of the game. And I mean dick. They don't care about you. They will not attack you, but be on a boat and you're screwed. They'll attack it. You can actually come up to them and get you can get meat off of it. And that doesn't matter. They'll still attack it. That is the largest water creature, by the way. And that's saying something when there's like 2 creatures that you can tame and put 2 water creatures that you can tame and put a platform saddle on. There's the plesiosaur. If you know your dinos at all, if you've studied them before, they're the underwater long necks. And I don't. And the mesosaur. The mesosaur actually has 3 saddles for it. The regular saddle where you can just ride it, the platform saddle where you can build on it, and the tech saddle. Yes, it has a tech saddle. I have yet to actually find myself, for myself, a wild um, squid creature, but they do exist. In fact, I was in an online server and a friend of mine discovered a cave or knew about a cave and he wanted to go investigate it. But the squid was hiding inside it. The giant squid was hiding inside of it. Yes. It'll come and attack you. Now, underwater, by the way, is very good for oil, crystals, and especially pearls. But when you go to the tundra, there is actually a place where you can go that you don't have to go underwater for any of that. It's out in the open on the surface. Because let me tell you, without the GM buff, shit would be attacking me left and right. It is dangerous underwater. Plus, if you don't have even when you have a scuba set, your oxygen supply is limited. You can only be under for so long. Mainly for the oil, crystals, and pearls, but if you know where to go, you don't have to. But there is a cave or two under. Oh, this is one of the underwater things that will attack you. This guy is ugly. He's a Doduncorus or something like that. I don't remember. Dunkleo, this in front of me is ugly as shit. I'm in GM buff, which is God mode. If you're not already at it, max XP, invisible to all enemies, and oh yes, you cannot drown. You'll notice that my oxygen is just kind of flashing over there instead of decreasing and sitting there. This here down here is actually a mesosaur. A Zamosa is what they call it for short. And this is what has the trip. They will attack you too if you do not, have God mode on. It doesn't take very long unless you put more oxygen on. Even then, you're still always limited. But there is still a reason to come down here besides the pearls, the oil, and the crystal. Because crystal isn't as numerous down underwater. Oh, here's an angler. I'm coming up on an anglerfish. Maybe if I can get to this underwater cave that's here. There's a couple of anglers. That's the angler. Enjoy. Angler. They are ugly as fuck, but they are good for light underwater. But I'm not noticing that it gets very dark underwater. There is an underwater cave where you can go explore, and there are artifacts, and those artifacts go towards fighting and defeating a boss. And I mentioned the bosses when I mentioned the obelisks. So, so you kind of want to go around and venture into these caves and get the artifacts, but the artifacts are not easy to get to because these caves are supposed to be riddled with nasty attacking shit. I might even venture into the tundra and show you a cave where I told you there was giant spiders. I'll probably venture into there and show you. Currently I'm looking for the underwater cave because that was where a friend of mine found the giant squid. because I'm hoping that that's where I can find it. I'm getting close to the cave. If I haven't already passed it. I don't think I passed it. It's pretty far down in the water. I remember trying to swim down to retrieve his gear for him. Yeah, I would be dead by now because of the oxygen thing. Like, yeah, unless you really have to. And there's dinos underwater that give resources that are actually useful. There are. So that's another reason to actually here's actually a couple deposits of pearls that I was talking about. So you actually do have some reasons. The jellyfish do give off like a toxin or something that you can use. I think I'm getting close to the cave. I remember it was a steep cliff down from where he'd gone. But yeah, these guys will shock and kill. Because when they shock, you're disabled. You're literally incapable of moving. Like, it is. It really is. Yeah. Well, I mean, starting off, if you grab berries from bushes, that'll help with your survival. But meat lasts longer. Meat fills you faster. If it's black or white, don't touch it. Black will put you to sleep. White, there's an alpha of the sharks. I didn't even know they had one, but I guess that's how you get that reward for them. Um, but the black ones will put you, the blackberries, the narco berries that I mentioned earlier, those will put you to sleep. The white ones, if you've accidentally taken narco berries, you can go ahead and eat the white ones. Those are stem berries, and those will stimulate you. You know, they'll wake you the fuck up, but they'll dehydrate you. I swear I've already come and gone from the spot, but I haven't found the cave. It's towards. I know it's near the bottom area. Like, there's a shelf at its entrance, but it is so hard to find. I don't remember exactly where it's at, so I'm just gonna surface and get to shore, and maybe that's it. I don't know. This is like dragging on longer than I expected it to, but I'm like trying to show you as much as I can. It's already gone down in price. Someone said that they bought it for uh 50, or that it's on sale for 50. I think it was you looking at it, reviewing it. Um So it was on sale before it came out officially and after it came out officially. It was on sale for 60. Okay, that's not the cave entrance that I'm looking for. It's quite possible I haven't even reached its spot yet. There's a lot of ground to cover, and it's quicker sometimes when you're on the ground instead. Recognizing this part, yeah, I haven't gotten to it yet. There's a wild Bronto. Yep. I wish I could have shown you the Titanosaur. I think I still have a screenshot of when I spawned in a Bronto just so I could have it right next to the freaking Titanosaur, and it literally makes the Titanosaur, or it makes the Bronto look like like it's tiny, like a child. Alright, this actually should be about where the cave is, right around here. As you can tell, it goes very deep. This is back in water. I'm headed to... This is where I recall the cave actually being. Somewhere around in here. Yeah, it's the cave I was mentioning where you can get one of those artifacts. There's like caves all over the place, and the one in the tundra is like the one of the ones in the tundra is like the smallest one. But there's one that is covered in crystal, but also covered in angry dinos that'll kill you. Yes. Well, I mean, no, when I say covered in them, I mean as you're traveling through it, and you don't swim into all of them. This one that I'm trying to get to is literally the only one you swim for. But I have yet to see it. Yeah, you're starting to see, like, the oil when it's underwater, it shows up with that stream, because, it's, underwater. But the funny thing is, you still take a pick to it. A pickaxe. Or a hatchet, I don't remember. I think they both work, but one of them's more capable. Oh well. I give up on the cave right now. If you get the game, I would suggest get the Ark Survival Companion downloadable app for a mobile phone. Android, I know for sure has it. Hell if I know for Apple. Now, I will also say that Ark has come out officially for mobile devices. Okay, hey, here's a bunch of dodos. These are the ones where if you punch them in the head, they're the easiest tames, and you can pick them up and carry them to your base. You don't even have to worry about them following you. What? I'm only over to Red Ob? That's... No wonder I haven't found it. Oh my god. I've been doing all that freaking swimming, and I'm not even at Blue Ob. It's over there by Blue Ob. And I'm gonna go and get my Griffin and head that way so I can go faster. Because even my speedy flying, there's limits to it. And I don't know why I thought I was gonna be able to go fast enough to get to it. I'm a moron sometimes. Just Just go with it. Don't argue. Just go with it. Good, because I would argue right back. Now, the mammoth and the woolly rhino, those most frequently spawn in the tundra. In fact, those are almost the only place you'll find them. At least on island map. There's some maps where that's different, but it's still usually the place. The tundra's still usually the place you'll find them. And you want to make fur armor so that you can survive better out there. Because when you're hot, you get thirsty more. When you're cold, you get hungry more. Oh yes, and there is a day-night cycle, as in case you didn't notice. Now there are dinos that I didn't show you. Some of them I would have to force tame, like spawn in and force tame. Some of them I just haven't bothered spawning them in yet, like the underwater dinos that I was telling you about. You'll notice I did not see any plesiosaurs. Unfortunately, I would have loved to show them to you. I can probably find some out there by Red Ob, underwater, but I didn't see any. And then, of course, like I said, that large squid. I am sorry for how long it is taking. I've noticed that I've been at this for 2 hours. But yeah, and you won't be able to spawn at the herbivore island, but you'll be able to spawn somewhere around there, and then if you get to the point where you can make a boat, you can travel to it. And if you do that, try to stay in the shallows, because like I said, Moby Dick. You saw him earlier, I pointed him out. Moby Dick. That's not his in-game name, but freaking Moby Dick. And I emphasize the dick part. He'll attack your boat, remember? Moby Dick, boat attacker. What am I doing down here? I need. I want you. Maybe one of these days I'll show you how the gliding for the rock drake. Yeah, you can. If you're there's a huge difference when you're in an online server and when you're in your own special server, your single player. When you're in your single player, you log out, everything in the world freezes. It's, as you know, it does not continue on without you. When you're in an online server, however, if you don't log in often enough, your dinos will die and your stuff will be capable of being destroyed by others, so that they can break your stuff and take whatever loot you have. By the way, I need to tell you that they changed the volcano here. It was not like this. It was inactive. It was more like a large mountain with a crater in it, and it was called Metal Mountain. People had built bases on it and all that kind of stuff. It was a wonderful place. Now they changed it. They've got this place here, by the way. You only go here or go down to there once you've beat all 3 bosses on hard mode, honestly, because that is where you ascend, and then based on the lore, it drops you on Scorched Earth after you ascend and defeat the big boss. Okay, so that is a tech gate, or a tech cave, and the cave is absolutely littered with vicious creatures in it. Now, my character would normally be freezing her tail off, but I kind of upped a couple of stats, and I am obviously in God mode, so freezing won't affect my character's health at all. Alright, here's the smallest cave I know of in the game. And a lot of caves you can't not take, unless it's a shoulder companion, you cannot take dinos inside with you. So you have to, it's best to have like a big group, because you notice how I'm standing and I'm not moving. I have to what? No, you acting up, piece of shit. You have to actually crouch to get in. And by the way, in here, notice the color change. It actually is colder in here. A lot of you can get obsidian and crystal in here, but and I don't know why, for some reason. Oh, there's a couple of spawns. There's some giant spiders. This is actually more empty than it's supposed to be. They probably spawned in the wrong way. Bats. There you go. There's some more bats. More spawns. This one has bats and spiders in it. I'm gonna make my way back out. Bats and spiders. Giant bats and giant spiders. And it's froze on me for a moment, so give me a sec. Alright, that is that cave. A little more barren than it's supposed to be, but no. No. This is that's a cave with bats and spiders. And there, like I said, there's only one cave that's underwater. Let's see, I'm gonna go ahead and head to the other tundra cave I was telling you about, and I'm only gonna show you a little bit of it, like I did the other one. I don't want to ruin all of the surprise with it. Oh hey, there's creatures here. Mammoths and probably some Utyrannosauruses, some Rexes, you know, some wolves and stuff. Yeah, all sorts of stuff in there. Alright, this one's kind of close to the riverbank. Oh, there it is. Now, the white glowing is crystal. It's simply easier to find it at night like this. I guess that's why they did it. I'm only taking the griffin a certain way distance in. That's a new effect that they've added. Alright, notice I can't really go any further with this one either. And I keep pushing the wrong button to crouch. And here I am, and look, they've added more creatures. There didn't used to be any bears. There's bears, there's wolves. The water is full of carnivorous piranha and anglers. There's yetis. Oh, I guess you still do get to see the piles of the wild ones. These guys, I don't know why, but they seem to be bleeding. I guess it's so cold that it's actually causing damage to them as well. You know. And further in, like, there actually used to be little penguin guys, because this is the tundra, and there are penguins. They're not called penguins by the game, but they are penguins. And notice that there's a lot of crystal that you can actually mine. There's a dead frozen body of a previous explorer that didn't quite make it. You know, that's kind of some lore for you, kind of. But, you know, loaded with vicious enemies. All of the stuff that's in here will attack you on sight. Okay? And like I said, I'm not gonna go through the whole cave because I don't want to ruin all of it. So I am going to get back out of the cave. And I'm gonna leave the rest of the cave as some surprise. I don't want to ruin all of it. I know it's interesting, but yeah, this one's a huge cave, by the way. And officially, I apparently some people have, because there's people who have tech gear on the online official servers. But it's not easy because you're gonna have to deal with taking a lot of damage, and it is cold as balls. Like, it is so damn cold in there. The tundra is cold, and then it's this cold. You know, it's worse inside. Let's see, I'm gonna go over to the shoreline where the cave, the underwater cave is, but I'm not gonna go and look for the underwater cave. I've already spent too much time trying to. By the way, right around here is like a nice little spot to farm pearls, as you can see the little shiny. But, as you can tell, there are also some rather vicious creatures. Those are gators. And you don't want to deal with those. Oh, yeah? Okay. Alright, I think around I think around here is actually where the cave is at. Somewhere around along this particular shoreline. That's where I recall it being. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and park myself at my Red Ob base. Because that's where I was. And there's actually a small cave that has, and I will go ahead and show you that one because that's a lot easier to find. Because I've been to it several times. It's a small cave. It doesn't really have like any artifacts in it. It's a resource cave, very specifically a resource cave, and there are explorer notes that you can find around the map in various places. And you'll notice, like, you'll sort of notice them. Sometimes you'll be able to notice them. I am actually moving faster than I realized, but when you're going like deep and you're not really close to any of the land, you don't notice it as much. It is. It it's a little more boring when you're by yourself and you've got nothing really to do, but it is a lot of fun. If you want to do it just for the exploring, if you want to get it just for the exploring, I would say get GM buff or get it, use GM buff and just run around, check everything out. Don't even bother with building and surviving, legitimately. But if you want to survive, if you want to play legitimately, then my biggest suggestion is start by a shoreline, specifically the southeastern shoreline if you can help it. And don't go into the jungle part for quite a while. Because, that's you start getting into where Carnos and stuff are, and if you're just starting out, you're not ready for that shit. I have watched my husband and his brother play on split screen single player, and they're just cutting down trees, minding their own business, and the next thing they know, a Carno is coming after them. Let's see. Oh hey, here's a couple of plesiosaurs attached, with their heads in the rock. There you go. A couple of plesiosaurs. I gotta find the bubbles. Sometimes the way you can tell a underwater cave, especially the small ones with resources, is the bubbles. And I think I'm a little too far out, so I'm going to turn this way. Unless they removed the bubble effect. Squeaky chair. when you're underwater, most of it's like guesswork, but oh, there's a loose one, and its long neck is just, yeah. Okay, I think I'm actually coming up to it. It's down here somewhere, and yes, Plesiosaur is aggressive. So, you were asking earlier which ones, and if I come across one and mention it or something, I'm going to tell you from now on. That's the bubbles I'm looking for. I'm just gonna kind of stand here and kind of look at the stuff for a moment so you can see them, and then I'm gonna come up here, and if I recall correctly, there is a box somewhere in this cave with notes somewhere. Unless it's yep, there we are. Explore notes right there. There we go. That is the cave that is one of the underwater caves. So you can understand some of the allure to the underwater caves, seeing all of this oil, crystal, and pearl. And while you're gathering, nothing's in here to attack you. So it's just a matter of getting to the cave that's dangerous. Because it's deep underwater, and there are creatures in the water that will attack you on the way. But like I said, if someone were to build a small little base, maybe on this little cliffside here, like lay down a foundation and a bed, that would be like how to get in. Have a crate with like tools, but otherwise, I don't know how they'd safely get the stuff out, get to it and get out. There are people that I'm sure would know how. I'm not one of them. I haven't. The only success I've had with the game is cheating, because I've been in tribes that have fallen apart. That's part of the reason why I stick to offline. Is because someone does something that someone else doesn't agree with, and it just falls apart. Or some people just stop playing it altogether, and it falls apart because not as many people are helping out. So, yeah. But the app I told you about, it has a lot of game information, not just like it has a taming timer. You can set the level, you can set any kind of increase in the settings. That if you set up a server of your own or your single player, you can put in the increase of like what kind of increase it has to tame speed and whatnot. If you You know, it has all sorts of tamers, and it also tells you what it has all sorts of information, like what the best food for taming certain creatures is, you know? Because if you have, like, for example, you need to make kibble because that's, like, the fastest thing there is to tame something with. Just for example, oh, I almost forgot. This bird here that's flying, tame it with fish, feed it fish only. It's a bird that actually can land on water and won't kick you off. And it can swim. Yeah. But anyways, as I was saying, if you need kibble, what you do is, if you've got the right dinos for the kibble that you need, kibble is usually the fastest tamer of dinos. Like, it's the most effective and it'll tame it the fastest. You have the right kind of dino for the right kind of kibble, because you can have kibble made from the egg of one kind of dino, but it works for a different dino. And if you're trying to make a lot of kibble, one thing you can do is tame an oviraptor, male specifically. Throw a lot of wood on it to weigh it down. A lot of wood or a lot of stone to weigh it down, and throw it into wander. It will increase the amount of egg laying that the female dinos do within a certain range. So you'll get more unfertilized eggs to make kibble with. Okay? That's actually what the oviraptor is useful for. You tame a male oviraptor. You have to tame oviraptors with eggs very specifically. Giga eggs are the most effective. Rex is next up to that. But like I said, most cases kibble is the most effective. But there are some creatures where kibble is not something that it likes. It doesn't care for kibble. Like I said, the sheep, the ram I pointed to earlier, give it a sweet cake. It loves you forever. There's actually a snail that makes that makes something. I forget what it makes, but it's very useful. I think it makes fertilizer. I don't remember. But you have to, all it will eat is sweet cakes. Which means once you tame it, you have to keep making sweet cakes to feed the thing. Otherwise it dies. And it stops producing the reason you tamed it for. You know? So some creatures are like that. Very few of them, though. But, there you go. I'm gonna go ahead and get off and go to bed, because my husband's already in bed. It is late. Maybe you can show me the map building tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Once I get past it. Okay. Because the first Far Cry I played, I got stuck trying to climb a cliff and people were shooting at me. I don't remember. It could have been Far Cry 4 for all I know. Nope. Nope, I don't. Mm-hmm.